I think there's a whole lot of people out there who are vastly underestimating just how long it is going to take for us to recover from the very profound things that we have done to our society on the economic front, on the social, cultural front, on the psychological front, on the health front. When it comes to all the very big things we have done in the past 14 months and counting when it comes to battling the pandemic. There's a whole lot of people out there who are telling themselves, who are really hoping, who are praying that all of a sudden, very soon, just around the corner, any moment now, snap of the finger, things are going to change. They're going to go back to the way they were before, just like that, because the virus is suddenly eradicated, or I don't know, because everybody's suddenly vaccinated, and there you go, let's party, no more restrictions, nobody's wearing masks anymore. Now, I wish that was the case, I really do, but I really don't think it will be. And I was reminded of that. I was reading a book recently that had nothing to do with the coronavirus. That was on the World War II era and recovery from the World War II situation. And there was a line that said, British food rationing in the United Kingdom did not end until 1954. 1954, that's 9 years after, almost a decade after the war ended. And yet they had that. They had food rationing in place for 9 years after. And then they did not end the ban on imports on luxury goods from places like the American markets until 1959, all because of the reverberations that happened from the war. So you realize the profound cultural effects that big schism on society had for many years to come. I know I know many people have joked about the fact that their British parents or their British grandparents who were around during the late 1930s, the 1940s, how they have this attitude where they have to finish every single morsel of food on their plate. And they would have that attitude when they'd go out for dinner at like an East Side Mario's in the year 2005 or what have you, where they give you, a plentiful plate of food. And you got to finish every single bite because it was just ingrained in them as kids that food was so scarce and you can't waste a single morsel and so forth. Now, of course, one should always finish your dinner wherever you are, whatever's on the plate. But, basic idea, you didn't have to do that in 2005 because of food rationing, but yet that mentality still stuck with people for decades, and it took later generations, of course, to shake off that mindset, those sort of attitudes that permeate. We're going to have attitudes like that permeate moving forward. We're going to have people who, are they going to be able to shake hands for years to come? Someone outstretches a hand for a handshake, and what does that mean? Do you recoil from that just automatically because of the psychology of what's happened this past year? I don't know. That's one example of one of those things that could be around for so long in terms of the cultural, psychological stuff. When it comes to the economic stuff, again, Britain having food rationing for years, almost a decade after the war ended. What sort of things like that are we going to have in place? It's obviously not apples to apples comparing what happened during the war to what's going on during the pandemic, but schisms, changes, things that sort of permanently get into the system and it's hard to get them out. I think we're kidding ourselves that stuff is just going to be instantly lifted. And these are things we're going to have to talk about more. They're things we're going to have to prepare more for when it comes to actually making forward momentum and progress in the months, in the years ahead.